Hi ladies and gentlemen, today is September 25th and I wanted to let you know how Chief Shane Harger is doing. If you remember Shane's story, he was the police chief for a small town in New Mexico, not very far from Albuquerque. And basically what happened was he is a Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officer Association member who was actually on his way to a CPSOA meeting in Las Vegas when the TSA and federal agents basically harassed him and said that they were going to get him in trouble. Well, I guess it was several months before that, maybe a year, he had made an arrest in a drug case. It also involved some fraud and some other things apparently. And the female suspect in that case basically was trying to blackmail him. But the state of New Mexico, principally a state trooper, who I'm going to mention here in just a minute, and the prosecutor went after Shane, and the city council that he worked for apparently basically put all of his department on leave or had them go away in one way or another because of the fact that they were constitutionally oriented. At any rate, after a really ridiculous, and I'm not even going to call it an investigation. It was not that. It was a railroad job. They took information from a known criminal trying to blackmail this good man, Shane Harger. And again, the state and the prosecutors went along with it because of his stand on the Constitution. But essentially what happened, and actually he came out to Bundy Ranch. He and I were out at Bundy Ranch together along with Brandon and Pete Santilli and a lot of other folks. But when he got back, apparently after the Bundy Ranch thing, they really went after him. Believed this woman, actually didn't believe her, they just used it to harass him. Basically SWAT teamed him. No reason to do that. He was never a flight risk or violent or anything like that. Jailed him. I guess he was in jail in solitary confinement for a long time. Wouldn't let him talk to anybody. And that was after an indictment that the prosecutor had brought against him, malicious prosecution I might add, and it looks like prosecutorial misconduct as well. Just all the terrible things you can imagine that will happen here. The prosecutor did not let information that would exonerate Shane Harger into the hearing. It was actually a railroad job, and to make a long story short, after going through hell, actually, costing him a great deal of money, a lot of heartache, difficulties on his young family, and a lot of other things, the judge in the case dismissed it on Yom Kippur. That was September 23rd, saying that the evidence doesn't substantiate the reasons for the indictment, basically is what the judge said, and so he dismissed it. Now, not to be outdone, this prosecutor, whose name I will mention now, is Mark Drebling, and he sounds like he is a little dribble to me. I don't know whose orders he's following, but he's obviously a very, very bad man who also had assault charges filed against him, I suppose, by one of his assistants or secretary or somebody. I don't know the whole story about that. But as typical as it always is, these guys, this is who we're dealing with in this country. These officiators in the law aren't interested in proving innocence anymore. It's always about getting a conviction, whether or not they railroad people, and we've seen the history of that all along. So I want you to remember this guy's name, Prosecutor Mark Drebling. He's there in Albuquerque. So basically, when the judge told them that they were dismissing the case, this dribbling prosecutor said that they were going to make an effort to re-indict him. So we want to get this word out so that people know what is going on here. There is no probable cause for an indictment. There never was. There wasn't even reasonable suspicion under the circumstances. And I can't tell you all of the information there. It's just too much. But I did put the link to Pete Santilli's show where Shane is talking about his difficulties below. And I'll give you the minute mark about where his interview starts. And I apologize that the whole show is there, and of course Brand and I are included, but this video you shouldn't pay attention to what we're talking about, because that's about 2 hours. I want you to hear what Shane has to say, and he's on the program for about a half an hour. So if you'll do that, I'll appreciate it. Let me give you a real quick rundown. I've placed on this video pictures of the police report of the arrest of the female suspect and the male suspect in the original fraud case that shows how bad these two really are. And I've also excerpted portions, because it's very hard to read on the video, excerpted the portions that I thought were necessary. And there's not any talking or music or anything like that during that. I just want you to see the documents, and you can get these for yourself. They are public information. You might have to pay for it, but you can actually get the information. I blacked out personal information that the public shouldn't see on a video on YouTube. I've also included the mugshots, and the female that you see here is the one that claimed that Shane sexually assaulted her. It may have even been a rape claim. I'm not really sure at this point. The important thing is that this is a criminal who told Shane that if he didn't give her $200,000, $250,000, she was going to blackmail him, and that's exactly what's happened. And what amazes me about this is that the police that investigated this obviously were after Shane, and the prosecutor were after Shane, not for just reasons, but as a payback for this constitutional issue, because the police want to be out of control. I think we're seeing that. Almost all of them want to be out of control. I used to be a police officer, and what I see today absolutely is abhorrent as far as I'm concerned. They've turned into the SS, enemies of the people. They no longer serve the public. They no longer have the public trust. Even the good cops, you wear the uniform, and you're starting to look like the bad guys to everyone. You really need to change your tactics and go back the way you used to be. Not militarized, not thinking that your safety is more important than everybody else's or anybody else's. And you need to start getting back to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the 3rd, 4th, 5th Amendments at the very least. I got off on a tangent there, as I usually do. So you have the mug shots, and then I also have a picture of the drug paraphernalia that was found during the search of the car. So let me go through real quick. This is a State of New Mexico uniform incident report you're going to see. The date is October 1st, 2013. The case number is 130088763. The agency is Albuquerque Police Department, the District 431, incident number 132740453. It's a fraud case, $250 or less, but they did find the drug paraphernalia during the search of the car, incident to arrest. The arresting officers were the suspects. The female is Dusty R. Keene, and the other is a male, Kyle R. Smith. Dusty R. Keene is the one that's caused all this trouble to Shane Harger. Lied, tried to bribe, and then the prosecutors go and use this to try to go after him, as I said, because he's a constitutional police officer. The prosecutor's name again is Mark Drebling. And I think that you need to know that there was a New Mexico state trooper that lied, totally lied, on a number of things concerning this whole case, this prosecutorial misconduct, this false arrest, all of these things that have happened to Shane Harger. This state trooper's name is Rich Williamson. He's a shame to the badge and the uniform. A shame. We got to get rid of these people. The people of these states are going to have to start coming after these police departments, sheriff's departments, state departments, whatever, that allow these officers to do these things and demand that they be fired or some disciplinary action is taken. Frankly, I think we ought to go back to this. That if you violate the Constitution, your insurance doesn't cover you. That the victims of the police officers' incorrect and criminal behavior should not just fall on the department and the taxpayer to pay a lawsuit, but that these officers should be held personally liable for violating their oaths of office and conducting criminal activity. That's what needs to happen. I believe it's Title 1081 of the U.S. Code, something like that. It's been too long. Title 18 U.S. Code. It's been a long time since I've been dealing with that, but that's necessary, I think, at this point. So, recapping again, Shane Harger's criminal charges have been dismissed by the judge. The prosecutor, however, doesn't want this to get out of his control, so he's threatening to re-indict Shane, and we need to raise hell with the state of New Mexico, with the county here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this prosecutor's office, that we won't stand to allow this good man to be railroaded and his life interrupted needlessly when first there's not even reasonable suspicion, and there's certainly not in any way, shape, or form any probable cause. So I hope you find this information helpful. And again, this all, you can look at this in the Albuquerque Police Department, which this particular report is filed on one of the original charges against the woman here who has caused Shane so much trouble. But the Albuquerque Police Department also did some of these other investigations, as did the state police against Shane Harger. So I hope this information is of help. And may God bless Shane Harger and his family.